So notice we've turned it sideways, and get different thing going on here. And if you look in the upper left-hand corner, we've got this. We got what you can kind of see a box here, can't you? Okay, and we have some illustrations to go with that, but you should recognize these directions here. This would be the vertical lines we were drawing on the page, and then of course we have these lines going off up to the angle on the right and the left, and those are some of the lines that you learned on that first page. So you should be okay at doing those lines on your own now. At least you should have developed a little bit of muscle memory to do that. If these were hands on a clock, like if this is a clock right here, and this is 12 noon right up there, then 1, 2 o'clock, and so we're going to call these lines that go up to the off to the upper right 2 o'clock lines. Straight up and down are going to be 6 o'clock lines, and then up to the upper left. Did I misspeak before? Did I say upper left before? Excuse me, upper right 2 o'clock, upper left 10 o'clock. Excuse me. The thing you got to know to make this stuff work out is that most of the lines you're going to be drawing, I think everything that you guys are going to be drawing for this stuff is going to be going in these three directions. It's either a 2 o'clock line, it needs to be parallel to any other 2 o'clock line, or it needs to be parallel to a 6 o'clock line, or it needs to be parallel to a 10 o'clock line. If it looks funky, if it looks distorted, okay, or something out of maybe it looks like like a trippy movie sequence or something because it looks weird. It's because the lines aren't parallel. So you got to watch out for that, all right? So this is the box. You can see the box in there because we've already got the corners. So I'm going to draw in the box, and I'm drawing lightly at first. There are my 2 o'clock lines, 6 o'clock line, 6 o'clock line, 10, and 10. And you can see that over here on the other panel, they tell us how many units. It's 2 units high, 3 units wide, and 4 units deep. So that's what these little hash marks are here. 2 units on the side. So I always call that the front, but I guess it could be the side. So we got the side here, and I cut that in half so it's 1, 2 units high, and I'm going to do the same thing to the front. But notice how the lines I've just put in are also 2 o'clock line, 10 o'clock line. If it looks funny, it's because you're not quite parallel to 2 o'clock or 10 o'clock. And then 6 o'clock, and this is where we run into trouble. You do a 6 o'clock line, and folks like to pull this to the side like that. So watch out for yourself to do that. Does that look right? That looks a little weird, doesn't it? It's because you got to make these go straight up and down like the 6 o'clock line here is. Because I drew it in lightly, guess what? I can erase it out, and it all goes away. Okay? And I'm going to bang this out real quick so you can get a good look at it. And what you're going to do on the panel on the left now over here is now you got to reproduce that. You got to reproduce that block over here. Only now you've got a lot less help, don't you? So I'm going to go start right here at this point. I'm going to do a 2 o'clock line. And I'll go from the end of this line to the end of the line I had right there. Because I just stopped arbitrarily, but that's okay. I got to make those lines connect, right? Does that look right? Is that how I do that? Does that look right? No, I got some magic. No, it doesn't look right. I got to go 6 o'clock line here. So, yeah, I made that line a little long. Now, you're going to make mistakes, and that's okay. As you learn how to do this, you're going to make mistakes. Here's what I don't want you to do. I don't want you to make a mistake, recognize you made a mistake, and then erase it. Because chances are good you're going to see a mistake, erase it, and then make the same mistake. Use your erroneous lines as a reference so that you can make corrections. Sketch lightly so you can erase them out later. Sometimes you pull the side wide. Oh, that's really distorted. Let me bring this in a little more. Still not quite. Okay, I can kind of see it in there now if I put that line. Can you see the start of the block? Sometimes we make the back wide. we gotta bring it in just a little more. How's that look? Can you see it in there now?
Yeah.
Okay, and now I can take out these lines. I've got my box. I can take out the stuff that I don't need. Because I drew lightly, it's going to be able to erase and be neat. Okay, if you draw too dark and you go to erase some of the stuff, it's going to leave a residue. Now I want to put the grid on. Don't forget the grid. 1, 2 high. 3 wide.
Interesting.
4 deep. Okay, and then I can darken this in. I didn't darken in the other one because I didn't want to take the time, but you will do that. If you can't do this, or if the block you draw doesn't look a lot like the one on the left, you need to stop. You cannot go on. You got to be able to draw this because this is our starting point for the next 6 things that you're going to be drawing. You got to be able to draw this block. If you can't draw this block, you're not going to be able to do the next 6 things, or at least you're not going to be able to do them and have them look consistent. Okay, so if you have trouble with this block, that's okay. We can get you some scrap paper. I can coach you a little bit. We can always get you some isometric paper. That's the kind of drawing we're doing here. The word is isometric, and we kind of make like a virtual, we have like a 3D representation on a 2D surface, and yeah, that's the way we're drawing this stuff, and we're doing this. Okay, so if you need to be able to draw that. Okay, and here's why. I'm going to quickly do this. Lower left one now. I'm going to start with a block. The trick is that's only halfway up, so you got to go up a little bit higher. And now I start with the whole block. I put the grid on. I put the grid on, and now it's like I got a pile of sugar cubes there. And now I got to figure out what I got to pull out of there to make one of these 4 shapes. Which one do you want me to make? Which one should I draw? Yeah.
The lower left one.
Lower left one. This one right here. This little step-looking guy, right? Okay, and so I'm going to take out this whole row right here. I'm not adding stuff on. Your impulse might be to add on a row of sugar cubes right there. No, don't do that. So always subtract away. Okay, there might be occasions later on in some of the other stuff you might be drawing, maybe next year or something like that you might add on to stuff. No, I want you just to subtract out. So it's nice and light. I didn't darken it in yet. I can still erase, and I'm going to erase out this whole section. Look what I take out there. And then I can darken in what I'm keeping. Sometimes it might be helpful to darken in what you're going to keep first. But you got to be sure, because once you darken it in, you're sort of committing to it. And I got to go to 6 o'clock line and 2 o'clock line to fix that up, and I have to have this crease, this where the corner, the inside corner. But that's why you got to start with that block.